Thanks, Deputy Barrett. Could I just refer to your very apt comment, and I quote Suzanne Keaton, CEO of DOCUS, who I'm glad is here with us today. In her statement after the recent budget, Suzanne mentioned that there's evidence, clear evidence there from all surveys, and that 94% of Irish people support government aid towards the poorer countries, towards trying to eliminate and deal with injustice, conflict and dealing with hunger. So I think there is a very strong attachment in this country, and despite the economic challenges of the past decade, overseas development aid through successive governments has remained at a good level. Naturally, we'd like to all see it stronger, and I think Suzanne in her statement after the budget called again for re-engagement and developing a roadmap with cross-party political consensus towards achieving the 0.7% of gross national income as our contribution to overseas development aid. And as a committee, we have been very strong advocates of that. And I just want to thank Sister Bridget when she referred to two of the recommendations that we made in our 2018 review of Irish aid, where we asked for government to consider additional support to missionaries, because no matter what group came before us here or groups that we met abroad, they cited consistently the work in the early days of Irish missionaries, be it in the delivery of education or health services, and indeed in infrastructure development in those local communities, be it providing a water supply or a well. And I think we have to be always conscious of that pioneering work, and work that's carried on so well today by missionaries and by lay missionaries as well, and through the different NGOs, our Irish NGOs working with their international counterparts as well. Deputy Sean Crowe mentioned about the huge change in this country from the mid 1960s when Don O'Malley launched the free access to second level education for everybody. And I have to say that as a person who comes from a rural community, and I know from the clerk here, Noel, and from what Deputy Crowe said, each child going to primary school, to school in Dublin at that time, got a bottle of milk and a sandwich each day. And I have to say, as a country person, we didn't get any of that. So there was even discrimination at that time against us country people, and that continues today, unfortunately. Could I also just say that I attended, Sean mentioned about discrimination in Northern Ireland, be it in relation to housing, basic civil rights and education. I attended the launch of a book last night, authored by Joe Duffy and Freedom McWay, Children of the Troubles. The launch, former President Professor Mary McAleese did the launch in an outstanding speech as usual. She chronicled that era where unfortunately 186 children were killed between the North and the South during the Troubles era. And some of those deaths occurred in my own constituency, unfortunately. And a young girl belonged to a family or friends of my own. But that, Professor McAleese last night just referenced the day that she got her A-level results, her and another neighbour, another young lady, a friend of hers, both of them got the necessary points or results that they would be able to go to university. And she made the point that that was a celebration for the whole parish of Ardine, that there would be two young women going to third level. That was 1969. So thankfully today there has been huge improvement in relation to access to education. And I know that by 2009 in this state we had achieved the highest level of participation in tertiary education in the European Union. Northern Ireland wouldn't be just as good, I don't think, I'm not sure. But if you take our island as a whole, we've made huge strides in that respect. Could I just say, following on from our Irish Aid report that we as a committee did, and all of us played our part in authoring that report along with our support staff, we were very anxious that we would have the opportunity to meet with yourselves today and lay a particular emphasis, as we see it, on the need for girls' education and quality education, which our colleague Deputy Maureen O'Sullivan always references. And the whole area of violence against girls and women as well is another issue that we have tried to highlight and deal with in our committee as well, and create that awareness. We're very conscious of the good work carried out by yourselves and your colleagues in so many difficult areas. And again, it's obvious that education is so important to try to bring people out of the cycle of poverty and to provide opportunities and for people to maximise the potential of their own countries as well, because we can see the transfer of knowledge, what it can do. And as a committee, we have been engaging with Teagasc and other statutory agencies as well in regard to the transfer of knowledge to countries where there's the potential to grow food, develop in the whole area of agronomy and the growth of crops and the production of food. And Deputy O'Sullivan mentioned the whole area of teacher training and that. Maybe that's an area that we could engage with the universities and the colleges of education then. Is there a possibility of greater assistance being given to people who are working in education in the developing countries as well? We want to thank you, as I said at the outset, sincerely for the very comprehensive and succinct presentations you made, and also for your engagement with the members of the committee. The issues you have raised here this morning are issues that are very close to all of us in our work on this committee. So I thank you very sincerely for your presentations here this morning. And this joint committee stands adjourned until 10 a.m. on Thursday, 31st of October, and our select committee will meet now at 11:30. Thank you very much.